Hello, welcome to the 5th episode of Circle and Square with
Do we really have to do like the exchange
Ben
thing every week?
Eisenberger and Blake Kostreva. It is a beautiful day
It is
today
It's really
in
beautiful.
Omaha, Nebraska. I mean, one of the
One of the best days in a while. We kind of got hit with the same shit that Texas was going through, except for we're kind of used to it, But it was much colder here, and I don't know. But it kind of sucks because the way they treat the roads, it like makes everything disgusting. Like the roads are all gross. There's salt everywhere. There's potholes everywhere. You have to drive on the left hand side instead of the right because there's so potholes. Will give you a
nobody
flat
else
tire.
does that except Ben apparently, and
They'll
that's
give you
why
a flat tire.
that's why there was a giant car crash in Texas because Ben was driving on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, I chose driving backwards.
Anyway, all right, so we're gonna try to insert some format into this goddamn podcast.
Bring some format back to it, It's like I had originally kind of came up with a concept, then it was like, let's just riff, and then it's like, maybe we should have a format again, huh?
Yeah, so our first segment's gonna be, what are we drinking today? And it is very boring today.
Yeah, I forgot to bring something, so it's a couple Busch Lights. That's
Busch Lights.
punk rock beer of choice, or I guess
It's a good beer. It's a beer. It's a beer.
I think of the domestic light beers, Busch Light is my favorite, but
me
but
too.
more so in a bottle than in a can. I'm not really a fan of much beer in a can. I think of a can beer, maybe Bud Light's the best one. Oh,
That's the way my dad is too. But why don't we get into what did you do this week, Benjamin?
well, I've been playing guitar for this musical, The Playhouse. It's pretty sweet. It's fun hanging out with all these musicians. I know I talked about this last week, but it is nice to play music again. I mean, and I guess I did do a musical back in like October or something, so I did that. But I mean, like my bands haven't practiced. I haven't played music with any other people except for Michael, my bass player, some of my soul shit. But otherwise, it's like I haven't done anything with anyone else. So it's kind of cool to do that, even though it's like a theater or whatever. And then, yeah, I just work from home, sit at home. It's boring. We're making some app for some people, going pretty fast. I don't know what the deal is with like me being able to talk about like stuff at work. It's like maybe if people have like a project that they're trying to create, we're creating for them. It's like an idea. I don't know if there's like some like NDA involved in that, but
Probably not. Your job isn't that important.
yeah. How about you?
Just work, I guess. I have a lot of NDAs that I can't talk about while I'm working.
Are you still doing wallpaper at Hotel Deco?
Well, actually, it got put on hold, but nobody listening would care anything about that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the first thing that I have. For today, let's do it. I have one issue, and then you have one issue, and let's just go back and forth on that.
Sure. Like you mean like a news issue or
Yeah.
what?
Well, yeah. Well, not like
Like stuff that happened.
Ben, I'm gonna need you to check my prostate. I have an issue down there.
Yeah. And have you ever had any prostate issues?
No, I'm 27 years old.
I
Ben.
know.
But yeah, I think I do have some. All right. So the first one, let's talk about the stimulus. Where the fuck is the stimulus check?
I mean, it doesn't matter at this point because you won't hear about it. And everyone was making jokes about like, it's like, it's taking so long for the stimulus, but then we can like bomb Syria in like a couple hours.
Dude,
but
that was my favorite meme was Joe Biden sure is bombing a lot of countries for still owing me $2,000.
There was a really good one where it was like the Pawn Stars dudes or whatever, that show, and the meme of the guy behind the best. It said like when you it's like when you are depending on these $2,000 stimulus checks, and the guy, it's like best I can do is bomb Syria,
But what is the real fucking issue? Why aren't people talking about it?
Well, I mean, I
think it's very simple why they aren't.
I can say a bunch of things, but like it's obvious that like the news is trying to go back to sleepy mode, you know, and it's like it's very easy for them to just not talk about anything that's actually important and just be like, it's all this shit that's like so stupid. And every article that I see is like so divisive for like people on like an aesthetic level, and not talking about any substantive thing. But yeah, sure, the checks. I mean, they were talking about including a $15 minimum wage hike in the stimulus bill, which obviously isn't going to happen. But it's so funny that's like it's like not even like a it's not even like a instant thing. It's like over like 4 years,
Yeah,
you know? And you think 4 years down the line, like,
I've noticed every day that I open my Google News app, there's another article about stimulus check. It's the first article every day that I open. The latest on the.
yeah.
It went from what 2,400, and I think now it's down to about
No.
1,400.
It was always going to be 2,000.
All right, well,
but then they
this
said,
this stimulus check is dropping as fast as my Coinbase account is, and somebody needs to fucking fix it.
yeah, come on. But we need another like tech stock rally. I hope all the tech stocks and Bitcoin, everything just dip just because like, sometimes I feel like stocks are manipulated a little bit, where it's like it's down for a second, then everyone can like buy into it, you know, and then it like shoots up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Buy on the dip. Buy on the dip, daddy.
I guess that is how they work in general. But
Well, that's how you make money. You buy on the dip, baby. You buy on the dip. But
Yeah.
so to end my part, we haven't got our stimulus check. Ben, what's your next story?
well, I will just to say the House did just pass the stimulus bill, so it's headed to the Senate, and then once the Senate passes,
And then what happens when the Senate
doesn't pass it or
doesn't
something?
pass it?
Yeah, I
Then
know.
we're gonna be next. Catch us next Saturday for
Another
our
talk
next-
about the stimulus check.
Where is our third stimulus check?
Jesus Christ. I don't know. It's just so dumb. Anyway, of course. So I guess that's part of Democrats are shitty. And what about okay? Oh yeah, this week on the military side. So we bombed Syria. It was
Classic.
every article about it is prefaced with the fact that it was a defensive measure, you know? So it's like, oh, it was defensive. Don't worry, we had to do it or whatever. But there was this Politico article where there was a few things that I just thought were really funny. Okay, so the beeline of this article is the strike was defensive in nature, but was a response to 3 attacks endangering Americans in it says in Iraqi, but I'm sure they mean Iraq. First of all, I mean, we're still in Iraq, obviously, and there's reasons why we're still there or whatever. But like, we shouldn't have been there in the first place, which is funny. Second of all, yeah, some group attacked people in Iraq, and then I guess there was like some intelligence, person had told the press that they tied it back to this group. It's not like I want to say it's just a.
No, it's back to America as
resources
usual.
ploy, yeah.
It's no longer snowing in Texas. It's 55 degrees again in Nebraska, and the government is finally bombing countries in the Middle East again.
Yeah.
We're back, baby.
We're back, baby. I love this one. The president chose the middle option from a broad range of military options, according to a senior defense official. It's so funny because, like,
What is the middle option?
well, what they do, so this is what they do every time they have some kind of big military, like, move like this. This is like what I was saying, where, like how we elect a president every 4 years, how we elect Congress people every so often, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But the people, that's, it's like what people call the deep state, quote unquote, is like these big organizations, these big entities, like the military industrial complex, whatever they call it, but like these people aren't like elected by us, and these people just keep their jobs for forever. So it's all these people that have been in these positions, these like really high, powerful positions for so long. And it's like, I just, there's some sort of like nefarious agenda when it comes to shit like that. But what they do is these high military official people who come up with all these different plans of like shit that they can do. Whenever there's like a bad thing like this, they'll come to the president and they'll present like a not so retaliatory option, a middle option, and then a really dramatic option.
Sounds like a
but it's
video
always
game.
yeah, but no, but it's always I know, but what it is, it's always designed to get the president to pick. So whatever they really want to do, that'll be the middle option, because that's why they give this hierarchy of options. You know what I mean? It's always so he'll pick the middle option because the other one's going to sound too extreme, you know? So it's kind of just like our president, you know, we're just like controlled by like these really powerful institutions. I don't know. But yeah, I've heard that before with like George Bush and Obama too. They'll come to them with these like tiered series of options of like, do you want to bomb all these places or just one place, or
Rape all the moms, bomb Syria for retaliation, or do nothing.
he's like, bomb Syria sounds pretty good.
Yeah, sounds like we might figure it out.
Let me see. The U.S. conducted the strike together with diplomatic measures, including consultation with coalition partners. It's like, the decision to strike in Syria instead of Iraq was likely made to avoid causing issues for the Iraqi government, which remains a partner in the counterterrorism fight against ISIS. So it's like, so they attacked us in Iraq, but instead of doing anything in Iraq, we did it in Syria.
Hey,
It's because we want Syria's oil.
Dude, it's called. Have you ever played Parcheesi?
So stupid. It's like
Risk.
Can you believe that the decision to strike in Syria instead of Iraq?
Strategio.
The strikes were likely calculated and scaled to avoid any escalation, while sending a message that Iran's use of militias and proxies will not allow them to avoid responsibility.
Well, I don't know. As an American, I back my my Lord and Savior Biden, and you're a piece of shit.
Here's another way that
for doing this on my podcast.
Here's another way that they say. So listen to this one. The U.S. maintains 900 troops in Syria and has no immediate plans to reduce the number, according to two other defense officials. Who, you know, first of all, who are these people? You know, these unnamed sources all the time. And then second of all, yeah, no plans to reduce the number. How much do you want to bet they're going to increase the number? I mean, I'm sure.
I hope they do.
I don't know. It's all about Iran. You know, we have to. I don't know.
Well, that's the problem. I ran, you walked.
I walked so you walked so I could run.
my hands look like this, so Ben's hands could walk. All right. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next one because neither of us know what we're talking about on this one. The CPAC. CPAC.
Yeah. Okay. So there were a few kind of funny little CPAC things. When I was looking on here, I saw it said that the conference looks like it's going to go to the 29th. Is it a leap year this year?
Dude, you better believe that fucking CPAC is going to end out Black History Month.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have the last word.
We're closing out Black History Month.
They're going to have the last word. They're going to have the last word on that.
Oh, it is no, it's not a leap year. It's
it was a leap year like last year, wasn't it?
Oh, so last year's must have been. Okay, so it must end on Sunday. So I bet Trump will speak tomorrow. I think Trump probably goes to speak tomorrow.
And who better to speak in Black History Month than Donald Trump?
Well, he's done more for black people than any other president, maybe besides Abraham Lincoln. Do you remember when he said that?
Dude, I think he did more than Abraham.
Do you remember when he said that, though? Can I pull up a video of him saying that? It's really funny.
If we're gonna end there of what he said he did for black people, we're gonna be. This is a whole episode.
But anyway, CPAC. I think Josh Hawley spoke, Ted Cruz spoke. It's so funny. Like when Josh Hawley got up there, he's like, I watched a little bit of it, and he's like, the radical left will not silence us.
Oh my god! I just thought wasn't CPAC last year the one where that crazy bitch got on stage and she's
like, we will never be. That's Donald Trump Jr.'s wife.
No, his girlfriend.
It's Gavin Newsom's ex-wife.
Oh, God.
So the governor of California, Democrat governor of California, is like his ex-wife, who's now isn't it so funny?
No,
Anyway,
it's
let's.
not
I know. Hang on.
Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
He made a reference to Abraham Lincoln. Where did that come in? I mean,
You said
where
you're
did
Abraham
that,
Lincoln.
Where did that? No. Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possibly with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, nobody has done what I've done. Criminal justice reform. Obama and Joe didn't do it.
Mr. President, you've described the Black Lives Matter movement.
Oh, anyway, I just like it's like no one's done more for the African American community,
But at
with the
first-
possible exception of Abraham Lincoln than I have.
Nobody's done more than Abraham Lincoln, except maybe Abraham Lincoln. Oh God!
But anyway,
Thank God that's over.
so but anyway for CPAC, there is a beautiful picture of the golden Trump statue being
Oh, and they're
being
hugging
wheeled
it
into
when they go in.
they're like
They
hugging
hug
and
it.
taking pictures of it. It's pretty cute. It has red, white, and blue, like a sort. It looks like it has a red, white, and blue. What the fuck? Shorts on, kind of like a
boxer almost,
New
like
York
he's
Times
boxing.
sucks. Look at, oh my god, that is very golden. That's a really funny statue.
It's
Someone
like the Apollo Creed shorts, boxing shorts.
someone was like, "Tell me this isn't a cult now."
Look ahead, America.
Yeah, look ahead. God, I really do wonder if Trump. I doubt Trump will run. Do you think he would not want to be president again?
I don't know.
That'd be crazy to have a president for 4 years, have a different one, and then Trump comes back. That would be so bad. But another thing in regards to CPAC was Blake pointed this one out to me.
I don't believe. I just saw this on fucking the internet. Something with what was the name of the logo?
The rune, a rune, RUNE.
Yeah. I don't know how true this is, but I mean, you can't argue the shape of the stage.
Yeah, Odal is called Odal rune, and it dates back to the ancient Germanic languages.
You can find it. What I was reading about it is Nazi Germany, when they got rid of the actual swastika, this is the logo that they put. So maybe go down further and you might find some of the photos of soldiers.
Oh yeah, they don't have any on this article. It's a TMZ article. What do you expect? But yeah, the stage definitely has that simple.
Do Snopes. Snopes is
It's like, was the CPAC stage intentionally shaped to look like a Nazi symbol? I mean, I'm gonna say I doubt.
it's unproven. You
Yeah.
could never prove something. like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. But that's pretty crazy. Let's see if they have any pictures of old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
that's
god.
On their. It is weird. It's very odd.
Well, yeah. Why is the stage designed like that? And it's funny because like the two little feet of this image are like shorter than the actual length of the image, and like that's exactly what it looks like. Oh my god.
My
that's
whole
crazy.
thing is once you start getting lines like that where they're crossed like that, it automatically looks kind of swatched.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why
yeah.
wouldn't you look it up a little bit?
Yeah. Well,
It's weird.
I don't know. I mean, like I could see where that's maybe not intentional, but like that's of course it's funny. There's always some kind of like there's always some kind of like weird little Nazi tie. It feels like they always point something out. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It is pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
The saga continues with our boy in New York, Andrew Cuomo, who basically there was a really good interview that I watched on Rising this week. There was this I think he's I'm not sure exactly which jurisdiction he's in, if he's in like a New York City jurisdiction or well, he would be probably in New York City because that's where the decision with all the nursing home stuff was, but he's like a councilman or something. Councilman.
I say we canceled the man.
This guy named Ron Kim, but he gave a really good interview on Rising. But he was talking about how he tried to do literally everything to get this information to people about like what was happening in these nursing homes, and he also like he tried to go to like the UN and like file the thing with the UN about it, and he tried to do all this stuff, and right before this pandemic started, or whatever, it's like I think Governor Cuomo, like, they signed something that basically like gave him immunity of like no matter what happens, like he'll have immunity of what happens from this thing. And it's like, why would you even do that if you didn't think that maybe like some bad shit was gonna happen, right? And then what's the incentive to actually like get people PPE or like take this like really seriously, if like you're not gonna be, I mean, I guess if you, the incentive would be you really care about your constituents or these people in this situation. But I don't know, just to sign something that like gives yourself immunity from anything bad, like any consequence of those actions is like fucking insane. Of course, like the media, I mean, like, we bombed Syria. There's all that shit happening with Andrew Cuomo when like the fucking like MSNBC and CNN like had Andrew Cuomo on all the time. The dude wrote a book, made like a couple $1 million or whatever, like maybe, I think like $1 million or something.
Jake
off of a
Tapper
book.
tried to interview.
Yeah,
he wanted to interview him for CNN,
and they wouldn't let him. Jake's at least like he's
like a journalist.
He kind of does some hard hitting stuff sometimes.
He's gonna hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah, he has some questions sometimes, which
that's why they obviously didn't let him.
Yeah.
Interview
and instead of like his brother. But it's insane that like that they just get away with that, and all they're talking about is like Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know what I mean? They're not talking about the stimulus check. They're not talking about the way they fucked this whole entire thing up in New York and how like fawningly they covered it and like taking any action. Like they're just like, they're not owning up to anything. It's like so disgusting. I fucking hate. It's why it's why I don't take any of those organizations seriously anymore, because it's obvious like when you actually get your news from somewhere else and you can see like shit that's happening, and where's the stuff that's like actual stories, it's like what they choose to report on is just always so stupid, and it's always the most like divisive shit.
Yeah, I mean
that's how it's always, I know, it seems like that's how it's been for a while now, but it's so fucking like, I just don't know how much like people can take of that anymore.
They'll keep on taking it, because the reason that they will is there are always new people that we're canceling all the time. They're always pushing the
next person who's like gonna be this, like the media's like like their enemy. It's always like the next person who's the enemy.
It's weird because like people would say that certain Republicans made Nancy Pelosi be fucking the devil and AOC be the devil, and that's exactly what we're seeing like by the left right now.
Yeah, they do the exact same shit, except for they kind of do it more. I mean, who else can you think of that's like a huge like Republican enemy besides like Nancy Pelosi and AOC and like Adam Schiff? But like Adam Schiff is a total cuck. Have you ever heard that guy speak?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got Cuomo. You got
what about Maxine Waters? Have you heard her speak? I mean, like to be honest, she kind of sucks. To be honest,
I can't think of any super left-leaning person that is in office that speaks
like just like normally, and because even AOC like has a kind of like this annoying tinge to her voice.
Well, it's not even her voice. It's she's so far right, and I think the problem
left.
is
she sounds
far left.
She sounds kind of condescending sometimes when she's saying shit.
Yeah, they want to make everybody else seem dumb if you don't agree.
Well, I really do like AOC too, and I think she's really smart. But I just wish there's like this condescending. People might say that is
she wasn't the way she is now when she got elected.
Yeah, it's definitely been a change. I don't want it to sound like misogynistic in a way, or like because it's like, oh, because she's really strong and opinionated. I'm like being hard on her or something, or down just because if it was a man I wouldn't say this or something, but I totally would. It's like this the condescending way of speaking. I mean, and speaking of condescending, like Nancy Pelosi is the worst at that shit. And she like barely knows what she's talking about, and she's like so condescending when she talks, and like to everybody. And if they ask her like any question, she's always so like just so rude.
An asshole.
Rude.
What I don't get is fucking AOC. The reason that everybody, including myself, loved her when she was elected is she was going to be the person that went against Pelosi, and now she is fucking just like now she's defending that.
So I made a post. I made like a post on Facebook about like, do you think like someone could run as an independent and like in this district and actually like win, you know?
In like Douglas County?
Yeah, well, just like in this area. Like, I mean, I definitely think they could for like local like office and stuff. And you know, some people might think that that's not a viable option. And I know because some people were posting like, why would you try and
No, you'd be
be
targeted.
outside of the main party or whatever? You're sure you'd be targeted or you'd be ignored. But I think I think that there's so many people who like are so sick and tired of like these partisan politics, this hyper partisan politics on the left and the right. I really think that there's such a large group of people that is so annoyed by all this shit that they would actually do it. And I kind of like want to do it, and I'm trying to think of like if it would. I'm trying to think that if I could do it, because I'm just trying to go deep and think of all the attacks that I like would be had against me if I did something like that. Not even like I really know what I'm talking about anyway. Like I would be bad like giving speeches in front of people, but I just know it would be like my sexual craziness. I'm sure people would like be all into that, or just like find like weird shit about me digging up, or like pictures of me with dreadlocks when I was a when I was a
So
kid.
we're talking mayoral. Who's
Maybe or like some like I don't know, some board member or something.
who's running for mayor right now?
You know, I don't know, but people keep posting about all these different people, and I was like, we need to decide on someone who's like actually like a viable option of winning too. Do you know what I mean? We should maybe look that up. But yeah, it's like we need to have like a really strong candidate if they want to do something like to pry this city from Republican hands, you know. I don't think they can.
Well, I mean, I don't think they should if they're not going to fix anything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I don't know what like a democratic solution would be for this city either, you know.
The city's in a weird place that like we're somewhere in the middle of like we don't really need we need public transportation, but we don't need fucking a orbit going down Dodge Street.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid. We need better bus routes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and some kind of like if we had like, well, Omaha's just not big enough for like a rail system yet, which kind of sucks, you know? Like cuz it would be really nice to have like a train, you know, or like a what do you call it? Like a metro, like a subway kind of, you know. But like we're obviously like not big enough to have that kind of thing. We're talking a little bit about like a streetcar, you know. Do you remember that streetcar?
That's stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
It doesn't make. That's basically what they're doing with Orbit now.
I know.
I talked to my friend Caitlin. You know Caitlin Little. She's big into Benson First Friday, and she said that when the Orbit came into Omaha,
by the way,
screwed up.
Orbit is basically they took an existing bus route that
It's
was
just
like
a longer bus.
That was one of the most popular bus routes. We have our main road in Omaha is called Dodge Street, and it basically runs from the tip of downtown all the way out
To
west
West
as far
Roads.
as it goes. Well,
West
that's
Roads.
what this bus route's doing. But yeah,
So, Caitlin told me that it added to everybody that needed to be connected on Dodge Street. It added time to their daily route. It probably saved money for the city because they didn't need to run a route on Dodge Street. But for people that actually depend on using that route, it added time for everybody that used it.
that's so stupid. Yeah, they have like this like designated bus lane, but yeah, everyone just like drives in it anyway, and it's like not really. It just seems really stupid. Yeah, we do need better. We need our city to be connected more. Like if they just had more bus routes, like if the bus
More
was
bus
actually
routes that
dependable,
made
I would.
sense.
Yeah, I would actually use a bus if it was.
There's so many connecting fucking routes in Omaha.
There's so many.
Yeah, like the bus routes are insane. Like if you want to get to anywhere that's all right, so if you're starting on north of Dodge and you want to get to, say you're on Maple Street and you want to get to somewhere on Center Street, You're taking so many fucking connecting routes.
Yeah.
And those are only, what, like maybe 24 blocks away?
Well, if they had, if they had buses that were actually running like north and south consistently, because it seems like they have a lot that are running east to west. I don't know anything about our bus system. I'm just talking about like me seeing buses driving down the street. Like I don't actually know anything about our bus system here at all, but whatever. Yeah, our Omaha's transit system is so bad, and I wish it was better, because like then less people could drive, and that would be nice. But really, the traffic's not so bad here anyway.
Yeah, it's not that bad. And we're so sprawled out that I don't even know how much sense it would make.
Yeah. Well, do you want to take a break and then come back and riff on some bullshit?
Yeah, we got a few more stories.
Okay. See you soon. Hey, we are back. So I was kind of thinking about how we were kind of, when we first started this, we were floating like this week on the left, this week on the right, and I'd like to title this next segment called "This Week in the Arabs" and "This Week in the Jews." Isn't that funny? Wow. But we have there was a report, intelligence report, that basically was like, yeah, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, was like he basically was like, or he ordered Jamal Khashoggi to be murdered, and dismembered and put in a suitcase or whatever the fuck they did. I mean, like, and we all knew that, whatever. But I think Joe Biden is. I don't know exactly what it means to sanction a person. It said they're going to put sanctions on everyone involved except for the Crown Prince, because they don't want to mess up that relationship or something. But it's crazy how much Saudi Arabia gets away with, just because of its allyship to us and oil. And just like, to be honest, I think like over there and like in Dubai and shit, it's like there's some of the most like grotesque like wealth flaunting, like, and wealth inequality, and like basically like getting like Filipino slaves to like clean all the places, you know what I mean? Like there's just like all this crazy shit that happens over there that we just kind of are just like, well, I mean, women still aren't allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia, are they? Or I think maybe there was something that I remember there was something recently that, yeah, I'm not sure if they still are, but it's just like shit like that where we can act like we're so woke here in the U.S., and then like one of our largest allies is like one of the most like demeaning, like just like wealth disparaging country, and just excess, like, oh, like if you see like like the Emirates like airline, if you see like where like how the rich people fly, and they're just like, it's always like these little things on the internet. You can watch YouTube videos of like, oh, look at what it's like to fly in like first class in Emirates. It's just like it's kind of gross. But anyway, that's like a random tangent, but I just thought it was kind of crazy how he can just do whatever he wants, apparently, that prince. He's kind of cute though, a little bit. I mean, not my type, but he's kind of hot. I hopefully I don't get assassinated for saying that. Of course, no one listens to this. I always kind of wanted to like do a big thing where I like basically just called a bunch of those guys cute or something. But if I was big enough, I'd probably get
Was there a
stuffed in a suitcase.
Was there a big riff when Trump didn't go after him? Wasn't there?
I actually don't really remember. Oh, you know what? It's actually I think it's actually just the headphones thing here, not the actual. Now that I'm playing with this, I don't know if there was a big thing. I'm sure there was, but at the same time, like I just don't think the press reported that much on it. Like they actually did a good amount with this whole case, but it was just kind of like, it's like once like Saudi Arabia is to blame, it's like, oh, okay, let's forget about this, don't talk about it anymore once it's obviously them. It's kind of like 9/11, Saudi Arabia, most of the terrorists were from Saudi Arabia, but we still, we invaded Iraq for some reason, and Afghanistan, and then went after Saddam Hussein for some reason, that was completely unrelated to 9/11. We just like went over there and did it anyways. It's so funny how people here in America, there's so much like one thing will happen and then another thing will happen. Another thing. Like we were just talking about Cuomo, you know what I mean? Like no one's talking about that because they're already on to like the next thing, So it's like they'll spend all this time like shaping a narrative and getting everyone all riled up about something, and then it'll like be proven untrue, but everyone will just be so past it, that it doesn't even matter. Shit's annoying. Then on the other side of this, I was also what was I? On SNL. I think it was SNL last week. It was one of those sketches where I don't watch SNL. I haven't in forever because it's not funny, and it's like it hasn't been funny for years. But they did a sketch. It was like one of those news sketches where they're like news anchors and they're like saying like little like jokey funny things about the news.
Well, Ben obviously knows nothing about SNL. You're talking about Weekend Update.
Okay.
And maybe you should watch SNL more often because there has been a lot of good SNL.
You SNL watcher? Oh, fuck that.
I am, but you need to know what to watch.
I just think, I think it used to be funny,
When? What year?
I mean, I don't know. I just see sketches from like the 90s and the 80s and stuff,
well, you weren't alive then.
Well, but I see sketches that were actually kind of funny, And now like they used to do like political parody, and it would be like kind of funny, but now it's just like they're doing all this like political parody, and it's like, and this guy is, the national security advisor, and this guy, it's like all this shit that like, people like don't even really know about or could like seem to care about. And
the Giuliani skits weren't good.
I don't know. I didn't see them, I guess.
Well, god damn, maybe you should watch fucking Saturday Night Live before you make a goddamn judgment on it. Jesus Christ.
I just think like that. I think that like overly like it's kind of like when
you haven't seen it. You haven't been watching Saturday Night Live.
It's kind of like when
Obviously.
South Park went from like being sort of topical but having like funny things to just being completely topical
But
and like
you
driven
haven't
by the
watched
news.
Saturday Night Live.
I know, but I see shit from it, and I.
But
little things.
what have you seen? You haven't seen the Giuliani skits or Saturday Night Live right now is at its best that it's been in the last 20 years.
You think so?
I am 100%
Maybe
confident that it is.
maybe I'll watch it if you say that. But I just don't get down with like this stupid like. I think that like overly partisan political humor is kind of annoying. To be
Well, there
honest.
is partisan humor, but every time there's new elections, it's overly partisan to whoever the president is. Mm-hmm. And also, how are you going to make the people on SNL not make fun of the Trump fucking cabinet when it is the most fucking funniest cabinet that... How are you going to expect that it's not going to be the most humorous?
Yeah, they need a good sketch on the like the new assistant secretary of health or something on SNL. Do you think they'll do something on?
No,
they've
done one on the new that redheaded.
The press secretary.
Yeah, and I told you when
I said they should do something on the.
I said when that first press secretary came out, I said I don't like her. It seemed fucking forced, and you're like, oh, I think she was good.
I thought she was good.
She sucks.
Yeah, well, she's not very good. Can I go back to what I'm trying to say though? They did a sketch where the joke was he said Israel's vaccinated now, and now Israel's vaccinated 50% of their population, and let me guess, it's the Jewish half. And like the audience like sort of laughed, and then like oh, but it's kind of funny because sure, there's like not. Israel's not entirely a Jewish population, so they are vaccinating all their population, which is good. But there's also like people who live in Israel who are like not technically Israeli citizens, like Palestinians, who are like not being given the vaccine like purposefully. You know what I mean? So it is kind of like true in a way, But all these people are coming after him for being anti-Semitic, and even though like it's like a funny joke because it's like kind of true, It's kind of like a funny joke, but of course it's like seen as anti-Semitism.
How many minutes do we have on the podcast?
I don't know, 40.
I would.
I did want to say one more thing. I was talking about. Did you see when the Rand Paul was like questioning the new like assistant health secretary, that trans woman that's like the trans woman doctor, about he was questioning her about like hormone therapy and for like children, and like should children be allowed to like make these decisions. She was like being so evasive to the question, and it's just like that shit is so fucked up. And
Should they
to have
on in your
in my opinion, should children be allowed to make a decision about like if they want to like be on hormones or not? No.
thanks.
Do not think so. It's like it's so stupid. And of course they get like a doctor who's like a trans woman to be on this board or whatever. First of all, she does look kind of ridiculous, I'm sorry to say, and it is kind of like humorous in a way. I take that how you will. But also like when she was talking about this, she was like being so evasive to this question, and it's kind of like I think anyone who believes that children should be able to make a decision to put like, I mean, to put it your body
Drugs, literally drugs.
Well,
into
and
your
it's
body.
it's not just drugs. It's like permanently altering permanently altering your body in such a way that like it's not like a fucking tattoo. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like when you just start taking these hormones and like I don't know. And I've heard some people talk recently about like being a female who goes on testosterone, and just being like, oh well, we trans men just aren't as like don't look as masculine because they haven't been on testosterone as long. I was like being a man isn't being on testosterone. You know what I mean? It's kind of like wild. It's just wild. It's like your body is supposed to anyway. You can do whatever you want as an adult, sure, whatever. And honestly, I think even 18 is kind of young to make a decision like that or whatever, in my opinion. But like to allow a child to do it and to. Because the parents who are doing that kind of thing, that are letting their kids choose whether or not to be on hormone therapy. I mean, like the parents who are making that decision, they're wacky. They should not be allowed to let their child just like. I mean, can you imagine if you were a child? Like, I mean, I would have. I mean, just because you get fed this information that like, oh, some people or because like liberal parents want to like educate their kids about everything, so it's like, okay, some men actually want blah blah blah, and they like try to tell their kids all about it. Then their kids are like, oh, that's me, because they're children, and of course this is hypothetical examples like I'm throwing around, whatever. Bottom line is, no, I don't think children should be allowed to make that decision, or adults shouldn't even be allowed to make that decision for kids. No.
Do you think we're gonna see a increase in like the next 10 years of people that aren't comfortable with
having regrets about doing that? Yes, of course I will. Of course we will, because you're stupid when you're a kid. I'm just gonna say that, and you're impressionable when you're young, and you want to go along with whatever people are doing. And it's mostly, I mean, you've looked at these. We both looked at studies about this. I know we've talked about this before, but it's like it's mostly girls, born females, who are doing this like in their pubescent years with their friends, and it's all like a thing to like fit into a group, because girls are way more vulnerable to shit like that, where it's like, and I mean I was too as a kid or whatever, but I think like boys are usually more kind of just like flippant about these kind of things and aren't as serious about it, but girls want to like fit in with their groups badly, so you'll have these like groups of like teenage girls who like all decide that they're non-binary or whatever, or like that they're all trans, and then some it just takes it just takes one person to like go that extreme route to like actually want to do whatever, and maybe they do feel that way, maybe they do want to be that way, but
maybe there's that big group.
There's one person who's actually like legitimately,
and then if they all do what, like, there's no going back from that.
Well, yeah, you're going to permanently alter your body. Like even if you stop taking testosterone, like, I mean, I've seen firsthand what it does to people's bodies. So, yeah, I don't know. That's not something that children should be doing. What?
Well, I mean, that's a good you being able to say that you've seen that and I mean, that's pretty important.
Yeah, I mean, I've slept with trans men before, and I mean, it's not like, and I'm saying like I don't have a horse in this race, and I don't care about people's individual choices that they make, like as an adult or whatever, because most people, you know, it's like they start taking hormones when they're like 19 or 18 or whatever, like when they're an adult, which I think is perfectly reasonable, and that's fine, you know. But I don't think that children should be allowed to do it. I think like the one exception, it's kind of like the abortion thing where they like make like exceptions for abortions or whatever, except for I think everyone should be allowed to do it in that case. But I think like if a child is born, because obviously like a big excuse that not excuse, but like a big talking point with people in like the trans conversation is that some people are actually born intersex. Like some people are actually like kind of like there's like a mutation when you're in the womb, and you're kind of born like, some people are born with like a penis and a vagina, and some people are born like with like kind of like in between genitalia and stuff, to where and you can tell like when the child's born like that, and that like or they'll have like an extra chromosome or something. And I don't know if it's a chromosome. It's like something like that. But I think in those cases, and usually in those cases, what the doctors do is like they kind of like make a decision of like if this child's going to be a boy or girl, and then they start doing kind of like supplemental hormone stuff when they're younger like that to get the body to like form into like one gender. And I think that is acceptable when it's like a case like that, because those cases are so rare. But also,
I think that there's no there's no really doubt in my mind that there are people that are born the opposite sex, and they think that they are, or they, not even that they think they are the other sex. Like, there's no doubt in my head that is a thing. I don't think it's as common as what people are saying that it is now. And I think that we should do research into that, but to make it like in just an average like elementary school, that we are just, it just seems crazy to me.
it seems crazy to have it be something that's so readily discussed as like this like natural part of life or something, when I think it is a smaller amount of people. Because, and I think a lot of it's like with gay people, like a lot of gay people that I know think all of the focus being put onto these kind of issues is like annoying, you know, like, but people like me, I guess. But I feel like there's a lot of other gay people like me. There's a lot of trans people, I think, who think this whole debate is kind of fucked up too. And there's a lot of trans people, I think, that don't think children should be allowed to like go on hormones and stuff too.
And there's a lot of fucking women that don't think that. There's a lot of women that think that, like, mainly in what's going on, like in sports right now, that it is like like they're being able to come into female sports and take over
And dominate them.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if that's what the left wants, there you go. You can have sports, then we shouldn't have male and female sports, whatever. Okay, sure, you know. But then it's going to be like, well, there's not enough women represented in football, you know. We need to force them to have a specific amount, you know. It's gonna be shit like that.
That's ridiculous.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's gonna be shit like that, because that's the only way. That's where this all leads. I mean, you see it happening where it's like, dude, if we pivot off the trans issue for a second, I do want to give an update, just because I'm kind of obsessed with the story, that Neera Tanden story of her being confirmed for OMB. So she's probably going to be, either she's going to be or she might be the first cabinet position like snag that they're going to hit, because Joe Manchin already said that he's not going to vote for her. And so I love how like the deciding vote might actually come down to Bernie Sanders, which would be really fucked up if he did vote for her, since she was so like rude to him and his supporters and like such a like mean, crazy person. But why I did want to bring this up, there was this tweet that, do you remember when people were running for sorry, I had to bring this up really fast. Eric Swalwell, was he the governor? He was either in Colorado or Washington, I'm forgetting which one. He made this tweet about Neera Tanden, and it was so fucking annoying. I just wanted to like scream. It said, God, I need to bring this up. Here we go. Thank God. Oh yeah, Representative Eric Swallow. Where is he? He's in Washington. Yeah. I represent one of the largest Indian American districts in the U.S. How do I look what's happening to Neera Tanden and tell little girls of South Asian descent that they'll have the same opportunities in life as a white man? The answer, I can't, and that's a shame. Like, so first of all, it's like, I'm sorry, little Indian girls. Little Indian girls just can't. They can't lead the office of management and budget. They can be vice president, but they just, it's not right for little Indian girls to lead the office of management and budget. Like, what's he talking about? I just love how we have like an Indian American vice president right now, a woman vice president. So it's like, how can I look?
Some white dude fucking speaking.
I know, but it's just funny. He's like, how can I look at little girls? Little Indian girls and let them know that they'll have the same opportunities as white men. It's like, well, okay, it's just she's nominated for the Office of Management and Budget. It's crazy how she, I don't know. It's just like all this money is like funneled through her fucking organization that she heads. And so it's obvious that she's like owed a favor, and that's why she's being put in this position. And then they're working so hard to get her confirmed, and there's all this stuff about it that's so annoying. It's like, why don't they like work this hard for anything else? They're pushing so hard for her nomination. It's just like this like random thing. It's like, okay, if it's not going to work out, just drop it. Like, why don't you just try and get people fucking like stimulus checks or something? Or why don't you like fucking talk about anything else about, and instead of how this is discriminatory, because it's like, you know what? Maybe she's just not being nominated because she's corrupt and kind of an asshole. And she's not an asshole because she's a woman. She's not an asshole because she's Indian American. She's an asshole because she's kind of like a shitty person. And that's fine. She can be both of those things and also be a shitty person. Like, it's not impossible, Anyway, that right there is an example of how the Democratic Party uses, call it woke washing. They will take an issue and they obfuscate it by putting it through.
He's trying to fucking just take advantage of identity politics, which is fucking the worst thing that has ever happened in this country.
I know, it's fucking sick, and it's like so annoying, and it's a big fucking joke. This man's a joke too. He was a joke of a presidential candidate, but also like they do that because it gets a lot of likes, on Twitter or whatever. But it's like, it's so divisive, and that way of thinking is so divisive. It's like, it's because she's a shitty person, not because she's an Indian American. And you can look at these little girls and be like, okay, you might not be able to head the Office of Management and Budget, but you can be vice president apparently. You know what I mean? So like, why are you
we just need to get rid of identity politics in the United States.
Yeah, it'd be great. Well, they're trying, they were trying to get rid of they had affirmative action, and then like too many, now sorry.
Now only certain amount of people fucking get accepted into Stanford and UCLA
now there were too many Asian people, so then they're like, oh, now there's too many Asian people.
So crazy.
It's like,
you're going the opposite way of what you originally wanted. It is so fucking crazy.
When I first started college, it was in 2008, right? And it was kind of like this stuff was already kind of in place, but kind of beginning. But the first thing I noticed when I got to college at UNO, and also it's UNO, whatever. But the fact was, like, it just seemed like there were no limits on who could be, because college is supposed to be like higher education, right? It's not supposed to be this like, it's not supposed to. Right now, it's just a way for them to make money off of people. College is just a way for them to make money, so they want to accept whoever. I just remember going to my classes, and like everyone in my classes was like so stupid, and they were even like kind of dumber than like the kids in my high school classes, in my gen ed classes. And I was like, wow, like I'm paying a bunch of money to go to college and like do this extra stuff, and like everyone in my classes just seems kind of like, it just didn't seem like people were that smart. And I thought there was supposed to be like a kind of like a limit on stuff, but there's not. It's just about like taking as many kids as you possibly can. And keeping them in the system so they pay more money. A lot of people, it's almost like impossible to like fail out of college at this point. They'll like hold your hand and like give you every opportunity to keep spending money in college. That's why like our higher education system is kind of a joke. And honestly, like, yeah, like my Chinese friends work so hard. You know what I mean? They like work so hard to like, and like come over here and like, you know, go to school or whatever. And it's just like, you work so hard and then you still like can't get into school because there's like too many Asian people that are working hard. It's like, no, we need some people who aren't working as hard because they come from these, you know, other backgrounds or whatever. I don't know. And what's really sad is like, yes, there is a problem with this whole thing, and I'm not trying to like overlook the fact that like the education system in America is fucked, and like the inner city schools in America are totally fucked. Like full disclosure, I used to tutor math at a middle school, and it was part of a job through UNO because I had taken a bunch of math classes. I used to tutor math at this middle school that's kind of like an underprivileged area, a couple different ones that were like in North Omaha where it was really rough, you know, like my middle school was nothing like these middle schools. These kids just basically like tried to get kicked out of class all day, and they like wanted like the resource officer to come and like take them out, and like people were just like, they were just like trying, like they like didn't want to learn, you know? And it's like, how do you change like an entire mindset of a generation? And even if they're like going through a bunch of shit at home and they want to act out in school, there's like that dynamic of it. And there were middle school kids that are going through puberty, but like, how do you change their perspective to be like, hey, learning's important. This is important. This is your, you know, your life. Like you need to take this seriously, like stuff. It was just really hard. So I don't know. It goes both ways, but at the same time, like college should be like, I feel like a higher institution of learning that you should be paying for. I mean, you're paying for it. So why are we making it so it's just like so diluted? I don't know. Sorry, that was kind of like a big rant, but we did want to talk about Lady Gaga's dogs too.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Well, we can make this really fast. Lady Gaga's dogs were found tied to a pole.
When Blake said this earlier, I said like they were like, I was
They
like,
were
by their
tied to a
leashes
pole.
or like, or
They
he's
were
like,
tied
no.
to a pole.
No, they were.
Lady Gaga has her dogs back. I don't know. I'm over it.
Yeah, you know, she got her dog stolen. That's bigger news than, you know, everyone's suffering here in America. God, there was one more thing you wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it was. Lady Gaga's dogs. What was it? Do you remember?
I don't think there was anything else.
You mentioned it when we came back in, but I think it was the Saudi Crown Prince thing.
I thought we already talked about that.
No, I know. I just I think I was like thinking there was something else, and that was probably it. I do want to give an update. We'll do this right before we go here. I do want to give an update about our Clubhouse sweepstakes. My friend Seth Emmert, he's a great musician. Actually, Blake, you would really like him. I should show you.
Creighton? I told you about my Creighton situation.
Oh, you didn't talk about that on the podcast. Wait, hang on. We'll close with that. But I gave Seth one of my Clubhouse invites. He's the only person to like and share, like I said, because we don't have anyone who listens to us. But yeah, if you want a Clubhouse invite, all you have to do is like the podcast on Twitter and Instagram, make a post about it, and share that information. Circle Square Pod. Come on, you know you need to. We need to get our numbers up,
Come
y'all.
on, baby.
My friend Seth. We should have Seth on here as like a musical guest. He should like record like.
Dude, I have so many people that want to be guests.
Really? I know I have people want to be guests too. We should next week we should do this. We should do a Clubhouse room.
I've been talking about Clubhouse rooms for a minute.
Okay, so next week we should do a Clubhouse room on Tuesday.
Yeah.
On Tuesday. So next Tuesday we're gonna do a Clubhouse room. What time do you want to do it? You do like 8 p.m. or something.
Whenever.
I have some friends on there. We could get it popping off. It'll be fun. Yeah. So 8 p.m. We'll do like 8 p.m. on Tuesday, or no, maybe 7, something like that. We'll announce it. You won't see it. It'll be fine. You'll just get an announcement on your phone. You would love my friend Seth's music though, because he like took a lot of influence from Connor, and it's kind of apparent, but like in a good way. And he's in Tennessee. He's cool. So
All right. Anyway.
and he listens to the podcast.
Thank you so much for listening to.
Oh no, you need to tell that Creighton story.
I don't want to tell the Creighton story.
Oh my God,
I
Blake.
almost got in a fight with some kids from Creighton today at a bar. They sucked. It doesn't matter. It's over. I don't care.
They said they walked into a Lever's and they were making fun of a Lever's and said it was a shitty bar and making fun of the bartender and shit. And that's like fucked up. At least kids who go to Creighton, it's kids that come from money or whatever. You can fucking kiss my ass. And I fuck a bunch of you, but
it was a good day today. Thank you for listening. Please tell your friends about this podcast.
yeah, and I just feel like today was kind of a downer because like I was like really tired from the gym. I
don't think it was too much of a downer.
No,
I think it was a good podcast.
No, this is a good one. We're starting to get into a flow, but yeah, I've been so tired, dude. Oh my God.
But
so
please
hopefully
tell your friends about the podcast, and this will, even if nobody listens, me and Ben are gonna just keep doing this for a while because we're fucking losers, and
we do like to hear ourselves talk. So, but we should next week we should start getting guests too. I have a few guests. Like
I have some guests too.
Let's we'll call them. All we have to do
All right,
is call.
hey, we'll talk about this. Hey, everybody, thank you for listening to Circle and Square, episode 5. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Love you too.